Do you think you can name some of the specific acts that are included in the EEO laws? I'll give you some hints. What act has to do with sexual harassment in the workplace? Title VII of the Civil Rights Act or the Equal Pay Act? If you said Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, you're correct. What does the Equal Pay Act cover? A. Pay has to be equal for the same job regardless of gender. B. Increases in pay must be done at equal intervals. Or C. New employees must be paid the same amount as employees that have more seniority. If you said A, you're right.
The Equal Pay Act of 1963 prohibits all employers engaged in commerce without regard to the number of employees from paying unequal wages to men and women for doing the same or substantially similar work, requiring equal skill, effort, and responsibility under similar working conditions for the same employer in the same county, except if the wage difference is based upon a seniority system, a merit system, a system measuring earnings by quantity or quality of production, or factors other than gender.
Yes, that is the more in-depth definition. Thanks, Todd.
Happy to help.
This act protects people with disabilities, but was passed in 1973, way before the Americans with Disabilities Act. Do you know what it is? A. The Disabled Persons Act. B. Section 23 of the Civil Rights Act. Or C. The Rehabilitation Act. If you said C, the Rehabilitation Act, you're right.
Widely recognized as the first civil rights statute for workers with disabilities, the Rehabilitation Act took effect in May 1977. Because it was successfully implemented over the next several years, it helped to pave the way for the 1990 Americans with Disabilities Act. In full, it states no otherwise qualified individual with a disability in the United States, as defined in Section 70520 of this title, shall, solely by reason of her or his disability, be excluded from the participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any program or activity receiving federal financial assistance, or under any program or activity conducted by an executive agency, or by the United States Postal Service. The first step in avoiding EEO claims or investigations is to understand the laws and ensure that your organization is not violating them. You need to thoroughly understand the types of discriminations protected by the EEO laws. Here's an example of discrimination that is not allowed. Connie is a sales manager and has been with her company for almost 30 years. She recently applied for the position of regional sales director. Connie is only 50 and plans to continue working for at least several more years and is excited about the opportunity for increased responsibility and pay. Or was excited.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Why didn't I get the job?
Look, it was just a matter of utilizing someone who brought a more fresh or youthful approach.
I'm more qualified than he is, and I have more experience. How could he possibly get the job?
Connie, the company wanted to take the long-term view on this. I mean, they wanted to hire somebody who would be here for 20 years. They could groom. Someone who would maintain and build client relationships. I mean, surely you understand the logic in that.
Do you know what type of discrimination Connie's experiencing? Disability discrimination, pay discrimination, national origin discrimination, age discrimination, racial discrimination, religious discrimination, gender discrimination, sexual harassment. If you picked age discrimination, you're right. Age discrimination is unlawful, and employment decisions should only be made based on the applicant's qualifications and ability to fulfill the essential functions of the job. In this case, the manager made an erroneous assumption that because of Connie's age, she would be retiring soon. When answering Connie's question about why she was not hired for the job, her manager should be able to answer truthfully. We decided to hire a qualified candidate who is better suited for the job.
The act that covers this type of discrimination is the Age Discrimination Act. It protects people 40 years or older from employment discrimination, including hiring, firing, promotion, layoff, compensation, benefits, job assignments, and training. Employers are also prohibited from denying benefits to older employees. And it's always a good idea to refer to your handbook or check with the EEOC for updates, or if you are unsure of anything. On average, the EEOC receives between 15,000 to 19,000 age discrimination charges each year. But you can protect yourself and your company from liability for age discrimination by knowing and following EEO laws and recognizing the types of discrimination. Let's look at another type of discrimination. Jesse is Hispanic and applied for a job as a security officer at a manufacturing plant. He's in college and getting his degree in political science. Jesse's called in for an interview and finds out they don't want to hire him for the security officer, but rather a different job.
Well, thanks, Jesse, for coming in today.
Thanks for seeing me.
Listen, I've been looking over your job application, and I think we've got a position we want to talk to you about. It's in our operations department, and I think you'd be really well suited for it.
Okay, what's the operations department?
Operations, good question. Operations is the backbone of our company. They're responsible for all the non-specific maintenance of all the facilities, as well as all the janitorial services.
What does it pay?
It's not exactly the same as the security position, but it works the same overnight hours as security, and I think it would work really well with your school schedule.
I was really interested in the security position because of the pay. It would really help me pay for school.
Well, I understand that, Jesse, and you do speak really good English, but the company feels that you wouldn't really be well suited for the security position.
What would I need to be suited for security?
Well, Jesse, the company is an equal opportunity employer. We employ a lot of Hispanics, and a lot of them work in operations. A lot of those guys don't have the English skills that you have, and so it'd be helpful to the company if you worked in that department. Besides, being Hispanic, you'd better be able to work with them as a team. So what do you say? You interested in the position?
No way.
What type of discrimination did Jesse experience? Disability discrimination? Pay discrimination? National origin discrimination? Age discrimination? Racial discrimination? Religious discrimination? Gender discrimination? Or sexual harassment? If you picked national origin discrimination, you're right.
No one can be denied equal employment because of the racial or ethnic group to which they belong. Their race-linked characteristics like hair texture, color, facial features, or because of their marriage to or association with someone of a particular race or color.
Employment decisions based on stereotypes of certain groups is prohibited, and it's illegal to discriminate in the areas of recruiting, hiring and promotion, transfer, work assignments, performance measurements, work environment, job training, discipline and discharge, wages and benefits, or any other term, condition, or privilege of employment.
Jesse's experience was an obvious and intentional example of discrimination. Sometimes, though, discrimination is not always so obvious or intentional.